All right, back here on Halftime. And our good friends Clay Henry with us and Jason Carroll on the telephone from Pig Trail Nation. You know Clay, of course, from Hogs Illustrated, editor and publisher. You hear him on the Morning Rush. I don't think we've had you on a Monday before, Clay. It's good to see you in person, too. How you been?
I'm versatile.
You are versatile. You can drive and you can sit all in the same day, right?
Yeah, it's an easy drive up from Norfolk.
That's right. Jason, what you got going on today? Where are you?
I'm at work, man. I took a break from listening to Dave Van Horn and the Swatters Club, and now I get to talk to Clay. I'm just wondering how many words I'm going to get in today.
He's right, though. The Swatters Club started 30 minutes ago, and I'm sure there's a lot of interesting things. This is one of those things that the media is invited to listen to, but not ask questions. And Dave does all the talking. So what's his main message right now?
So when I left, he was going over the players. So he'd gone over the last 19 games and going over the players. It's all kind of boring stuff to you and I. But, you know, I think the thing that, and Clay would attest to this, I think the thing we miss the most is going over there to the hotel and eating lunch and listening to Dave talk. You know, we don't get that anymore.
That's right. So let me ask both of you guys this. Let me ask Clay the question first and then get the answer from you, Jason. You know, you look at the results of the series against Auburn, and it's great. You win 2 out of 3. That's what you're looking for every weekend. When you dig into the results, are you still worried about lack of production against opposing starters? They got no hits the first time through the batting order in every game, and it's still a tough script to keep following. I don't think that other bullpens in the SEC are quite as scattershot as Auburn seemed to be. So I wonder what you come away from this weekend thinking, Clay.
Well, couple of things. Let's look at the 2 losses. They're against Alabama and Auburn, and those are the 2 last place teams. Mm-hmm. That concerns me more than what you just said, because when you get to a certain point in the season, are other teams contending going to sweep those teams? Yeah. Did you just lose 2 games in the standings by not sweeping Alabama? I know you can't sweep every series, but there are people sweeping those 2 teams.
That's right.
But I think what you see is that if they face heat, I'm talking about starting pitching that's just pure filthy heat,
yeah,
they can handle that. And it's the change in speeds that bother. But, you know, they faced some guys early in that series down in Arlington where, you know, they faced solid pitching all the way, and they came back there too. It just looks like to me this is a really good team, and I don't know how you want to break it down, but really good teams figure out a way.
Well, let me ask Jason here. So, I mean, the lineup still gets a lot of talk. I watched SEC Now the other day after the second comeback, and they were all about the lineup and how difficult it is to pitch to. I still think right now the best aspect of this team is relief pitching, because in order to come from behind, Jason –
And defense.
Defense, which did fail them a little bit on Friday, but certainly not the last 2 days. Jason, would it be fair do you think the bullpen is the best aspect of Arkansas baseball right now, or is there another thing that stands out?
I think parts of the bullpen are the best. I mean, Kevin Kopps, I just hope his arm can rebound from 3 straight days of pitching, because you're going to need him this weekend in Hogs. I think Wiggins has got to get a little more consistent. I think he's a little wild. I think the thing that concerns me with the lineup is their lack of hitting against lefties. I mean, they do not hit lefties well, and if they run into a team with solid lefties, especially out of the pen, they're not going to come back in games. The lineup has the potential to be good. Has it shown it very often? No. And that's the thing. You know, I get they're facing really good pitching in the SEC, but, you know, they struggle to get hits, like you said, through the first time through the order. And they make some adjustments, but it's not big adjustments. And you got to get Robert Moore going again. Dave Van Horn talked about how Christian Franklin's been a hard luck hitter, which he has, but hopefully some of those hits will drop. They've got to score runs early and put pressure on these starting pitchers to get them out of the game a little bit earlier and get to that bullpen where they can really put the game away. Because, like I said with the basketball team, at some point you're going to, these comebacks they're going to stop. And then what happens if you lose 3 or 4 games in a row where you can't come back? How does that change the trajectory of the season? Because that's the concerning part, because at some point it's not going to happen for them. And then when it doesn't happen for him a couple of times in a row, then what happens to the psyche of the team going forward?
So, and you know, there's one other thing that I don't know if it bothers me or worries me or what. There's still a little bit, Clay, of an unsettlement about the starting rotation. You know, you get a couple of really good performances by Patrick Wicklander, but before that, there was one shaky one that made you worry. You get two great performances by Zebulon Vermillion, and now two in a row that have not been very good. So, you know, Lockhart continues to. I thought Lyle was really good on Saturday, but still that 1 and 2. Like, I believe in Wicklander now. He looked really good Thursday. I'm a little nervous about Vermillion. And I wonder if maybe Paulette gets a start this next week.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go. You kind of beat me to it, which is good. But Paulette is the guy they wanted to be, or thought. I don't know, wanted may not be the right word. But all through January and really coming out of the fall, they thought he would be their Friday night guy, and he was early. And then it looked like the first outing in SEC play, he just was a little jittery, nerves. And it's like, okay, this is a different deal. You know, you're playing in, you know, a great setting, a conference game, Alabama, and he just couldn't locate. And I think he's located since then and started to settle in. But maybe it's okay to bring him in a second if Vermillion isn't on. I mean, maybe that's okay. But, yeah, I think you're right. I think Paulette is the guy.
I've never seen anybody have a weekend like Kevin Kopps did. I've never seen a pitcher go 3 days in a row. Kevin will tell you himself that he wants. It's not a matter that he wants to, but he feels that if he throws every day, does some pitching every day, he's going to be sharper. Yeah, have you seen anybody have a weekend like this before that you can remember?
Well, it's kind of vague in my mind. I'm not looking at, go back in the brochure and dig it out, but maybe in Dave's first team, Jay Sawatsky would really do that. But usually it would be 2 out of 3, not all 3. But he would be somebody that they, really didn't have a deep bullpen, and they rode him to Omaha. Jason, am I remembering that right?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, the last guy to have an impact in a series kind of setting would have been, I think, Charlie Boyce coming back against Wichita State and pitching for the second time that weekend. I mean, they really haven't had a guy, I don't think, that did what Kevin Kopps did, pitching 3 straight days, coming out the first.
In an SEC weekend, no.
Well, no, they haven't had anybody really do that in an SEC weekend. Because typically you're not going to throw a guy 3 straight days. I mean, I heard you on the broadcast. It's not something you normally do. They don't even do that in professional baseball. And that's why I hope Kevin's arm can hold up and he can have the same type of and I don't think he'll pitch 3 straight days in Oxford, but you hope that his arm rebounds this weekend. I mean, you just don't know how, somebody can come on and pitch, and have the kind of effort that he did based on adrenaline and trying to help the team. But what is that impact for that guy's arm that next weekend? And
yeah, Dave even referenced it, Jason, after the Thursday game to the media Zoom that, guys the soreness doesn't really set in for a couple of days. So I'm sure today, Kevin's arm is feeling those 76 pitches, and maybe not in a bad way. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see how he responds to coming, because they'll use him this weekend against Ole Miss.
He wants to pitch every day.
I mean,
so. 365. Now you can't do that, but
I think so. Last thing I want to touch on
back to the starters real quick. Somebody's got to emerge. I mean, somebody's got to step up and be a consistent guy, or this team's going to have some issues, especially when you get into postseason. I mean, they have one guy that's pitched consistently, and it's not even consistent enough to where he's going 7 innings, and that's Lockhart. Other than that, they've rotated 3 guys through those other 2 spots, and they can't get more than 1 or 2 good starts out of them. They've got to have somebody that you can go out. It's a good thing they're not playing Vanderbilt this year, where they've got 2 guys that you know what you're going to get week in and week out, start after start. But Arkansas's got to get somebody that they can count on to be that number 1 guy consistently, or where they might run into issues in the postseason.
Yeah, I think what you're saying about postseason is spot on, Jason, because if you get to a regional and you don't have your Friday night guy, you can't roll. Now they're going to play a number 4 seed, But you got to win that game or you will not survive a regional. There's no one that does consistently. So somebody's got to slide into that number one spot, or Vermilion's got to pick it up.
Yeah, and either one of those things could happen because we've seen Zeb go 8 innings, back-to-back games. Nothing felt fluky about them. Nothing felt fluky about him. We know the kind of stuff Paulette has. It's plain to see the moment you watch him pitch. Wicklander, I think, has he's looked good enough the last 2 times to be a Friday night guy, so it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
So when I see on Vermilion, he has to have his breaker ready to go in the first inning because he throws a straight fastball. And if they sit on that, they will rock it.
Well, that's what they've been jumping on these last 2.
So he's got to come out of the pen with his breaker.
Yeah, and he left everything up the other night. I mean, it was just he had it right in the zone all night long, and that's why he got crushed.
What about the bench production from this team? The pinch hitters are hitting over 500. You get guys that like Dave says, like Braden Webb, who, I think Braden has a fantastic attitude about baseball. You could just get a chance to talk to him, you'd know it. A guy that starts the day before, quote-unquote, relegated to pinch running duty, and Dave says, just runs right off, goes out and pinch runs in a huge spot, gets a big base going first to third, and it's just, when these guys aren't starting, they're still ready to play off the bench, and they are ready to hit at a moment's notice.
Yeah, the depth on this team is significant, and Dave said it, and Nate Thompson said it, and we haven't faced, I'm talking about this team, they haven't faced COVID, but they have the depth to absorb some blows, injuries, COVID, and it's fun to watch.
Well, I'm having a heck of a lot of fun watching them, that's for sure. And this next weekend at Ole Miss, we don't want to set it up as the end-all, be-all, but it's a pretty big series.
It's a rivalry, too.
I think it's the biggest rivalry for Arkansas baseball right now. I think it's surpassed LSU. What do you think, Jason?
Yeah, it's definitely their biggest rival, I think, over LSU now. Throw it in the dirt guy is always great over there. I think everybody loves that guy. And it's a big series. I mean, Arkansas needs to go win this series. They don't need to sweep it. They just need to go win it. And like Clay mentioned earlier, Arkansas not sweeping one of those 2 series against the Alabama schools at home, you're now going to have to go pick up a sweep somewhere probably on the road that you weren't planning on. But I don't think it's going to be this weekend. I just think you need to go take care of business and win 2 out of 3 and come back with first place.
They sort of did that in Starkville, though. So they've done one. So that you didn't think
but they
got
to get another
3.
one, I think.
Yeah.
All right.
Somewhere, yep.
All right, guys, I think we're up against the break, so we'll have to cut it here. We got a caller on hold. JW, can you hold through the break? We'll have you on right when we get into the next segment. Jason, appreciate you, man.
I let him talk a little.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Clay.
You did talk some.
Don't eat all the cookies over there, though.
I'm going to bring you some cookies, Jason, just for you, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
No cowbell to wake you up in the middle of the night, though. I wouldn't do that to you.
Okay.
Ty would do that to me, for sure. Clay, we only have a couple of seconds left here, so you're going to have to make sure you don't there's no Texas bedroom here, so nothing for you to set on fire in this beautiful house.
This is a great place.
It really is.
Yep.
All right, we're back here to Game Day Lodge to wrap up the show after the break. Stay with us.